cracking it. Nice. I want to check that out. My life.
Oh yeah, dude, what the fuck? Okay.
G'day.
And we are live.
Hello.
Howdy. Streamers,
How we freaking doing, fam?
fans,
Yeah,
Sly for us,
fans
Paul.
and Sly. How the frick are you guys?
Boys, right off the bat, big thank you for the follow, Hex Oz. Appreciate
Oh,
you.
that's Adam.
Hey, g'day, Adam.
G'day, Adam.
How the
How are
frick
you,
are you,
mate?
mate? Well, come on in.
Dude,
Um,
I've just noticed how fucking saturated my monitors are right now. They're all different saturations.
What's happened? Have you like done a setup or something recently?
I bought Cap's old monitor.
I see.
Yep. Nice
or have
curvy
you?
boy. Or have I? Have you received money yet?
I don't think so.
Oh, I need to get the old wife onto that one.
Yeah, I don't
Get
think
her
so.
onto that one.
Um,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
let me know
message
if you did, in case it's the money's gone awry.
I'll message
Um,
you right this second.
let's
get
fucking kick this in the dong.
let's get stuck into it. All
The
right.
schlonga big donger.
6-second countdown starting. Ooh, I haven't prepared the intro. It'll take a second.
It's fine.
All good, mate.
G'day and welcome to Oceanic Gaming Radio. That's OGR, ladies and gents. Thanks for joining us. This is your one-stop shop for all things gaming. We talk about all kinds of stuff on this podcast, mostly gaming-related, reviews, news, retrospective analyses. But yeah, welcome. My name's El Capitano, and alongside me is my faithful friend, Mr. Grizzly Gaming 86. How are you, my dear sir?
G'day, Capo. I'm excellent, mate. Really well. Nice and rested after yet another 3-day long weekend for us here in Western Australia.
Yeah, can we just keep those going? I don't want to go back to 5 days a week. It's
Dude,
fucked.
Are they talking about introducing some 4-day work week over here? I read something about it. I
What?
don't think it's ever going to happen.
Can
Yeah.
we get a fact check on that? Because I am so keen. I am so down for that. I honestly reckon 2 days isn't enough, dude.
Yeah, I agree with you, man.
It's just I would take a pay cut for 4 days.
Well, my job before this one, Cap, was a 9-day fortnight, and it was a yeah, and but I fit the extra hours into the extra 2 weeks, and that was pretty good. Just having a long weekend every couple of weeks.
Yeah, I honestly reckon if I only had I reckon I'd still do the same amount of work. I'd just be more productive, if that makes sense, because I know I've only got those 4 days to get shit done. It's just one of those things where I don't know. I kind of feel like that would be the optimum amount of work week amount. Time.
How's your vibe on a Friday, Cap? Because I know that I feel like you get to Friday, you get to lunchtime, and it's like may as well already knock off at that point, you know? Like,
oh, you mean like in the morning?
No one wants to do anything on a Friday afternoon. No one's going to book any meetings.
I mean, by midday, dude, I'm pretty much fucking cooked.
Yeah.
Like, you know, meetings all week, and then any work I've had to do. Yeah, I think my Fridays are generally pretty. I'm pretty good, but I just want 4 days, Grizz. I mean, that's just that simple. I mean, every time I have a 3-day weekend, by the time I go back to work, it's just the right amount of time where I don't feel like, oh fuck, like work again. Here we fucking go. But it's also just the right amount of time for me to relax as well. I feel like I have an extra fucking day to get shit done. I don't feel like I have to waste a lot of my weekend doing house chores and shit. I don't know. I don't know.
Great, mate.
Maybe that'll be the next OGR poll: 4-day week work week or not.
Should OGR push for a 4-day working week in Australia?
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe I'll Yeah, we'll have to ask Pav if he'll give us a 4-day work week. You know, he works us pretty hard behind the
Oh,
scenes.
I think I can get behind that.
Grizzler, what was on your agenda for this weekend, mate? What happened?
Mate,
Give me the rundown.
it's been pretty quiet for me. In fact, the last 2 weekends, we've kind of made a point to not really book in too much. But I went to this bloody dickhead's place for dinner on Friday and had a terrible time. No, it was actually awesome. I went to Cap's house on Friday, me and the wife, which was great. Cap cooked this beautiful, was it lamb?
Yeah, it was lamb.
Beautiful,
It was a
beautiful
lamb.
It was a lamb. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Once upon a time.
We went and bought a couple of craft beers and like cooked this beautiful lamb, and it's just a good night, mate. A couple of drinks. Yeah.
Me and
it was
made
great.
a real nice fucking, what do you call it? Mac and cheese.
Oh, that mac and cheese. Hot dang, man. That was good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, she's got that one down pat.
Homemade
But yeah, sorry to
mac and
interrupt you.
cheese.
What else did you have, old mate?
Well, that's pretty much about it, dude. I mean, it was Anzac Day today. Oh, I didn't tell you this. I built my middle daughter's right into Minecraft, and she got a heap of Minecraft Lego for her birthday. But it's one of those things, man, where if you half finish something and you leave it there, all the bits are going to go missing. So we haven't opened any of it, and some of them were quite big. And got to one of them today, and it's like this big pig. It's like a big pig, but essentially little bits of it open up and expand and stuff.
Cool.
And then you can then they've got like all the crafting tables and bits and pieces inside this pig structure. It's awesome.
Fucking
man.
rad, dude. What the hell?
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So I built that today after the gym, and then the wife and my other two daughters, while we were doing that, made Anzac cookies for Anzac Day.
Oh, nice. Cool. So, well, lest we forget, my dear friend.
Lest we forget. That was me. What about you, mate? What about you? What did you get up to?
Well, yeah, obviously caught up with you Friday night, and I've had a really lazy weekend, actually. Like, I haven't done the gym at all this weekend, which is quite out of character for me, but it was just, honestly, just couldn't be fucked. So, get back into that this week. I think what I'll be doing is, what I did, was Friday night with you. Saturday night, caught up with my my good mate and boss, and we went to Palace Arcade, which is a gaming kind of pub thing here in Perth.
Talk the viewers through what do you? It's crazy, eh? Like,
I suppose like the colloquial term, I think, is barcade, right? Because they have heaps of like arcade games within the bar. They do these epic pizzas that are like 22 inches, so literally like the size of a fucking car wheel. And so we got a pizza, we got some fried chicken and stuff, and having a bunch of beers, had a few pre-cocktails. And yeah, it was good. We did this, like they have this like arcade game there, dude, where it's like a arm wrestle machine.
Really?
Yeah, so I did that, and that was pretty fun.
Did you get the guns out, Cav? How'd you go, mate?
You know me, mate. Come on.
That shit
yeah.
or what?
Yeah. No. Well, I did. I did like there was like a thing at the end where it was like you test your strength if you get through really quickly. And then it gives you the option to see what your push strength is with an arm wrestle. And one was like 46 kilograms or something like that. And that was like 15th on the ladder. So I thought that was pretty good. Because I would assume there'd be people who just like 5 people get behind the fucking thing and just push the fuck out of it. So I was like 15's not too fucking bad.
Top 15 strongest man in Perth. Confirmed.
In Perth, yep, confirmed. Yep. Absolutely confirmed. Potentially top 10 if you take out all the cheaters, maybe higher. But yeah, so that was pretty much my weekend. And on that, I've been playing some video games on the new PC. Been getting back into Destiny 2, playing a bit of that, which has been fun. Just kind of nice just to do something brainless and shoot some stuff, just going through the main campaign, and also jump back into Final Fantasy Online. I got to about level 47 or some shit when I last played, and then kind of fell off just because I'm doing other shit. And just jumping back in there and playing that. It's kind of, now that Elden Ring's done, I kind of just have time to do other games.
Dude, I'm so lost with my gaming right now. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like nothing is capturing my full time, so I'm just filling it full of like, I don't know. Like I have one thing that I'm tinkering away at, whether it's Elden Ring or playing Isaac. I don't know, but at the moment, I'm just kind of like bouncing between a heap of different things.
Do you know what?
Finding something that
I
sticks.
legitimately think that having had Elden Ring on the menu for so long, like I had 150 odd hours in that, I'm just fucking so spoiled because I feel the same way. I feel like nothing's going to satiate my gaming hunger ever again.
Yeah. Well, dude,
You
I've
know
just
what I
gone
mean?
and installed WoW Classic today. I've installed it today. So,
Woo!
yeah.
Damn.
Well, we've obviously got a lot. We've got a lot of. We're going to talk about a lot of MMO things today. But I kind of thought that with that announcement, that maybe I can prep for Wrath of the Lich King because I never
Yeah.
played it. Cap, I never played that expansion. Never
Oh,
touched
okay.
it.
That
Yeah.
was I played Wrath. Not like casually. Definitely didn't. Wasn't like in a raid team or anything. But
Yeah.
I think Wrath is by far my favorite expansion. But I mean,
Mm.
hey, let's segue into that, Grizz. So um, recently, as of last week, Blizzard formally announced the next expansion for retail World of Warcraft, being the sort of latest and greatest stuff that they're releasing. That's going to be called Dragonflight. We'll get a bit more into that soon in a second. But they also, alongside that, announced the next stage of the WoW Classic experience. And for those at home who are unaware, World of Warcraft obviously has had a shitload of expansions over time. And there was a lot of push by players wanting to go back and play the older expansions within that kind of time capsule back in the day on those servers. So they've announced the second expansion to the original World of Warcraft vanilla. So vanilla, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King. So Wrath of the Lich King is going to be coming out soon. I don't know if they announced an actual date, but you will be able to play Wrath of the Lich King on classic servers. But yeah, Grizz, like, so you've obviously you've installed WoW Classic. Like,
WoW Classic is
you're obviously
installed.
getting excited.
Yeah, yeah, I am. Well, the way that I see it, Cap, right now I'm kind of feel like that I don't have apart from Dota, but I haven't got a casual game. I really enjoy the thing that I probably enjoy most about gaming is getting into a nice, comfortable area, my nice lighting, my nice PC, relaxing, whether it's with a beer and just having something chill to play, put some music on, and kind of wow kind of achieves that. That was my Elden Ring. That was what Elden Ring was doing for me basically, and I was like exploring through the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, Wrath of the Lich King, I never got a chance to play it, and I think it might have been you and maybe Pandy and a few others were telling me that that was the X pack. Actually, Gutters loves Wrath of the Lich King. Thinks that
I
is
think
the
it is the X
best
pack,
one.
dude. I think that's
Yeah.
like, I think that's sowed the seeds. I mean, it sowed the seeds for what WoW was going to become in years to come. I think that they built on a lot of their current systems back then and just took them to the next level. I mean, obviously, like the wrapping up the Lich King story for a lot of people was like huge. You know, after a lot of people, you know, that were playing World of Warcraft were super into the lore behind, and they still are obviously. But you know, back then, like people generally were die-hard fans of the Warcraft kind of universe, right? So one of the recurring characters being the Lich King. His whole sort of backstory was very deeply explored in Warcraft 3, the RTS that was released by Blizzard before World of Warcraft. And so to have him come back in this expansion and operate as the main antagonist, for a lot of people, it was just like, holy shit, this is the shit. But I don't know. I just felt like the pacing of the story and stuff in Wrath of the Lich King is really good. I think the way that you could amble through the different zones, I thought was really nice. I just think overall it's a really bloody good expansion. Good dungeons. I mean, the raids are really cool. It's a great expansion.
I know that you love the quality of life of retail WoW, and will the release of Wrath of the Lich King potentially spike your interest to get back to classic?
No,
too much time spent at the Barrens, mate.
Dude, I mean, I've been there. I've fucking done that shit. I don't have time to go and fucking level a character to level 60. So that's the other thing, right? Like, you lose all that quality of life stuff that you've got right now. I think, like, World of Warcraft
it's like 40 hours, man.
dude, it's more than that.
Is it?
To level to max
right.
is fucking way more than that.
Is
It's
it?
like it's like hundreds of hours, man. It's
Is it?
unbelievable.
Yeah,
It
right.
takes people months to get to max level in World of Warcraft Classic. That's why I'm like, you're like, all right, I'll just jump straight into Arthur Lich King. I'm like, whew, Grizzly
What if
Gaming 86.
what if a bloke's going to play 4 hours a week, Cap? How long's it going to? How many years is it going to take me to get to max level?
Oh mate, I'll see you. I'll see you in a decade, I reckon. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I know when they did Burning Crusade, they had options for people to kind of jump mostly straight into the story. I'm sure that'll be probably something similar. I don't know if they've announced too much about that. I do know though, Grizz, there's going to be no option for players to stay in the Burning Crusade era of servers.
Wow.
That was announced recently. So
that was one question I was going to ask you. So if you've got a BC character, you're automatically going to be entering into the Wrath of Lich King content.
I'm guessing that's the idea. So I think the way I think the way Blizzard wants to structure it is there's going to be WoW Classic, and that's literally just vanilla. Part of WoW Classic will be vanilla, so you can sit in vanilla for as long as you fucking want. You know, play the base game by yourself, no worries. You know, and there'll be many like-minded people who enjoy that and do that with you. And then there'll be the other path where you do progress through the older expansions. Now, how far do they go with those expansions? That's a very good question. Like, do they go into Cata after Wrath of the Lich King, or do they? I don't know. Like,
there's got to be a point in time where they just fucking they've got to stop it.
I would think they maybe go up to Mists of Pandaria, and that will be the last one they do. And maybe then they do a refresh or something. I don't know. It just. I mean, you're right. Like, what's the point in going through maybe some of the more recent expansions? In my mind, I don't really see the point. But I can understand, like, Wrath of the Lich King and Burning Crusade, maybe Cata, sort of. But, I mean, Cata definitely isn't most people's favorite expansion.
I tell you what, Cap, I don't know the stats behind this, but I still feel like I still see people on my Blizzard list playing WoW Vanilla. So it's definitely like... It's definitely managed to capture people.
Well, do you know what? I kind of compare it to RuneScape Classic. You know, classic RuneScape or old school RuneScape, whatever they call it. I think that they haven't changed an awful lot with RuneScape, old school RuneScape. People just enjoy that game loop, and hey, that's freaking cool. They've added some basic stuff, kind of to help people kind of give a bit more longevity out of it, like Iron Man stuff where you can only you're kind of restricted in certain ways in RuneScape, where, for example, I think you can't like trade or to get items, or you have to build everything yourself and to get all your level ups and stuff, which obviously is quite difficult. But I kind of look at it that way. I think a lot of people just like that nostalgic. I mean, when you look at World of Warcraft vanilla, like it's bare bones, but it's rock solid. Like, it works really well.
Oh, it's so good, man. Especially BC, dude. Like all the because I actually went back and I was playing in a private server for a while with Pandicap, and we worked our way through it. I had a max level rogue, and we were raiding Sunwell and stuff like that. But I feel like the game all the way through, from leveling to when you're grinding for loot to be able to raid and stuff, is enjoyable all the way through. It's a time sink. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the professions. So I had leatherworking alchemy, and leatherworking was just to sell stuff. And then alchemy, I'd just buy herbs from the auction house and make my pots and stuff. And it was just good. It's good fun, mate. It did well.
Yeah. I think because those older like MMOs and older variants of whatever it is, older expansions, I think that over time a lot of game developers have been trying to kind of grab people's attention and kind of get that reward part of your brain really interface with that, and so give you a lot of upgrades, give you a lot of rewards over and over again. Whereas within those older expansions and older MMOs, I think there's a lot more effort that goes into generating that reward. So I think a lot of people prefer that, and I like it as well. Like, I like a component of that. I definitely like a blend, I guess, and that's probably why I especially these days, I don't have time to really put into a game like that. Also, I want to experience the new content and see where story goes and stuff like that, because I mean, just as as a gamer, that's where my interests kind of lie. I don't mind, I don't know, experiencing older content. Like in a WoW Classic kind of thing, where they're bringing it out as a bit of a gimmicky kind of, here you go and play old kind of content. It's interesting to go and interface with your nostalgia and feel it again. But for me, I'd much rather. I want to go and see where the story goes. I want to see what new mechanics they introduce. I just think from a game design perspective, that's definitely where I like to just see what people are doing, and seeing how they bring new stuff to the table. But yeah.
Well, on that note, Cap, moving along to Dragonflight, how has this caught you in terms of game development? Because I think it was the last episode or the episode before, you said it would take Blizzard a lot to bring that Captain Perth back in to play the World of Warcraft retail bait.
Yeah, I think, look, I'm just going to preface this with, like, Blizzard, like, yes, they're going to need to do a lot mechanically and within the World of Warcraft environment to get me back on board. I think Dragonflight is a step in the right direction, but I think ultimately what Blizzard needs to do for me to get back on board is show me that they're not a bunch of fucking assholes and just giant pieces of shit. They are doing things, I think, to try and mend and make good on some of the shit that's happened in that company with the sexual abuse allegations and whatnot. They seem to somewhat be supporting workers, and they've introduced some job roles into the company that seems to be going towards, hopefully creating a safer space in that company. But they're going to have to continue to do that to really get me back in. But
Yeah, they've appointed someone who's in control of like diversity in the workforce and working conditions and stuff, which is obviously a step in the right direction. But yeah, I agree with you. Cap. Just to quickly preface this conversation, because I dare say we're going to do a deep dive into this. So, Blizzard, there is a open beta, I believe, Cap, for Dragonflight.
Well, you can opt in.
You can opt in.
You can opt into the open beta. Obviously, they've announced the fact that Dragonflight is coming. They haven't announced a release date. It is the next expansion. I'll just give you this preamble here. I've got Grizz from Icy Veins, which is kind of like the preamble for the entirety of the story. So, I mean, they've obviously had Shadowlands, which was the most recent content, and now they're moving into maybe a lot of people have been kind of wanting something a little less cosmic entities playing, on a cosmic scale, and maybe just sort of take it back a little bit to like just adventurers adventuring. And I think maybe this might go a little bit towards kind of de-escalating the overall kind of story threat. So, I mean, obviously Dragonflight is fucking about dragons. So the preamble is: following a period of calamity for the world of Azeroth, that's a fucking understatement, long forgotten forces are stirring in the mythical Dragon Isles, the ancestral home of dragonkind. As long dormant forces begin to stir in their sacred homeland, the dragons of Azeroth, at times both allies and adversaries of the mortal races, call on the heroes of the Alliance and Horde to help reckon with the looming threats and ancient mysteries on the verge of awakening. So there you go.
Do you want to hear my take on the lore, Cap?
Yep.
All right. Big stone bloke falls asleep on an island.
Yep.
Wakes up after hundreds of years to find all of his stone brothers slayed in ruins. And he goes up and he hits a big button and he nearly dies in the process. And the big button activates the dragons and they come and save him just before he's about to die. That's the story of World of Warcraft, mate.
Yeah. For those at home, Grizz has basically just explained the trailer. They came out with this in the only way that he can. But yeah, it's basically, I mean, look, the Dragon Isles, which is where this expansion is going to be set, has been alluded to in Warcraft lore since the beginning of time.
So this isn't something they've just plucked out of a needle in a haystack. And
it's interesting, Grizz, because there was a lot of leaks that came out before this was obviously announced. A lot of people saying it was going to be some kind of dragon-themed expansion, and it totally was in the end. But yeah, let's go through some of the major features, Grizzly. So I mean, new
Absolutely,
continent
man.
being the Dragon Isles, new level. So new level cap is level 70 now. They did have a level kind of decrease. I don't even know what you call that because it used to be the level cap was like 100.
Readjustment, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, they did like a readjustment because you were going up to level 120 or some shit.
Yeah.
So they've readjusted that and the leveling experience. So yeah, you can level to level 70 and explore the primordial wonder, an ancient secret pass of the Dragon Isles across 4 new zones: the roiling waking shores, the vast plains, the stark azure span, and the ancient majestic Thaldrassus. There's a new playable race, Grizzly, Drakthea.
Yeah, baby. Drakthea, yeah.
And they
Yep.
look pretty cool. They're like they're dragon folk, I guess. Lizard folk, dragon folk, I guess. They have 2 forms. When they're in combat, they are in dragon form, and they're kind of like humanoid dragons. And then when they're out of combat, they're like kind of semi-human lizard dragon people.
It's super cool, man. And I think they look really customizable as well. Cap.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. You can customize their horns and
And
scales and shit.
They are Horde and Alliance as well.
They are both sides of the scale. You can get them on either. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Horde v Alliance stuff with the coming expansion, Grizz. There's been a lot of motion from the devs that seems to suggest, I believe, that they're combining forces so that you can raid on either faction without there being faction limitations. So
is that because there's sub numbers of shit the bed, Cap?
I'm positive it is. There's no other reason why that would be the case. I mean, in the old days, it'd be like, well, just deal with it. You either play one or the other. That's just how it is. I know, a lot of people talk about the
any Alliance scum. Put it that way. Fucking bloody
exactly
jingle
for the Horde, baby.
Yep.
But a lot of people talk about how fucked the World of Warcraft code is. And how deeply entangled some of the sort of root systems are. And I know that one of those things that was being talked about a while back, and it was one of the things why the devs were so apprehensive to do any merging of raid factions and all that kind of stuff, was because it was just so fucking deep, like tangled up, like spaghetti code. They didn't know how they're going to achieve it, but they've obviously figured out roughly how to do it. So,
well, I remember when they enabled you, because you used to only be able to raid and dungeon with people that were in your server as well. Isn't that right, Cap? And then they enabled you to like queue cross server. And in vanilla days, there wasn't even, you had to go to the meeting stone and then form your party that way.
That is definitely one thing that I miss in Warcraft, because I definitely think it promoted a social aspect of that game that just isn't around anymore. Now it's just people advertising, looking for fucking keys and all this other shit.
Yeah.
So
in BC, man, to get into Sunwell, you would meet people in the main Horde town, and you would like say, "Yeah, I'm keen," and they would ask you a few questions, and you rock up and they'd inspect your gear, and you'd either be like, "Yeah, you're in," or "You're fucking out." Like it was interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I just really enjoyed just the way that kind of played out and the social kind of aspect of it. But which again, I don't think really exists in World of Warcraft anymore. But there you go. So yeah. So anyways, we got the Drakthea, and the Drakthea are only able to be one class, Grizz, an Evoker.
One class, okay.
And Evoker is a new class, and I think it is it's basically a magic kind of based class. You call on, I guess, the elements that a lot of people. So the dragons are each dragon flight is a different aspect of elements, and so that the Drakthea make up all the elements. And I think the evokers can sort of call, almost like a shaman, but not quite, call on all the different aspects of the dragons to do their cool shit. So there's two main, what do you call them? Specializations. We've got Devastation, which is a medium-range DPS specialization that mainly focuses on the magic of the red and blue dragon flights to harm foes from a distance with a variety of concentrated spells and powerful breath attacks. And they've also got Preservation, which is a healing specialization that ultimately utilizes the magic of the green and bronze dragon flights to heal allies and rewind time on wounds themselves, which I think is fucking cool as shit.
Yeah,
dude.
imagine if you get like smashed by a boss and they just kind of like, it's almost like the Weaver zip. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that stuck out to me here, Cap, was the DPS type has this charge up your attacks and unleash them at the right moment to maximize their effects. So it
Yeah,
almost sounds like a bit of a skill shot kind of thing. Which does that
yeah.
exist? Does that exist in other
Look,
characters for WoW? Or
not really. Like, so yeah, these empowered abilities kind of look like you hold the ability button down and you have levels of ability that kind of either will, I guess, do more damage, have a different way of performing the attack, take longer to do.
Hmm,
I don't think there is really anything like that in WoW. So I think this particular class is going to be quite different. I mean, if I get into this expansion, I'm definitely going to be giving this
yeah.
a crack. I think I'll be
Hey,
mainlining this.
from your WoW playing, do the new classes usually come out pretty broken? Like, are they usually pretty overpowered?
Look, normally, yes and no. Um, if they are overpowered, they tend to get like brutally nerfed
Yeah. Yeah.
later
Well,
into the
I know
expansion.
that when Dota releases new characters, they always release them broken, so they get played. And people are like, oh, they're really cool, and then they
Yeah,
just fucking nerf them to the ground. Like
yeah.
Marcy was ridiculous. What Marcy was absolutely courageous, and at the moment we've got Elden Beast, which is doing the rounds as well.
You
Like,
keep saying
it's
Elden Beast,
what is it?
Primal Beast.
Oh, too much Elden Ring, mate. Too much Elden Ring on the old
Oh,
mind.
you bloody dingleberry! But yeah, so yeah. Anyway, so we've got the new hero class and the new playable race, which both look
Exciting.
pretty cool.
Hmm.
The other thing they've got, Grizz, is dragon riding.
Yeah.
So you'll basically get a dragon of your own, which you'll fly around on the Dragon Isles with.
Hmm.
They've altered the way that flying works in that particular zone. So I'm not too sure how the story elements are going to support that because I saw this funny meme. It was like flying in the Dragon Isles and showed you like a nice snippet of like you doing cool dives and shit and fucking around, and then flying everywhere else in WoW, and you just look like a static piece of shit flying through the fucking air, just like it looks so funny. But yeah, you can do all this cool shit on your Drake, like
Dude, how
pull
sick is
down
that
and
footage
do
of
cool
you,
shit.
like, yeah, like just going down a mountainside and just like
Yeah,
picking
and
up
gaining
speed?
speed because you're kind of
Yeah,
like a like you would imagine a dragon would fly, right? Like, and you can do
it
barrel
looks
rolls and shit, and
very cool, dude. It looks
yeah,
very cool.
yeah.
I'm
So
excited, and the environment kind of looks built around the dragonflight piece as well.
definitely,
So it looks like quite high. What do you call it? Like skyscraper mountains and bits and
yeah,
pieces like that.
yeah. I think that I mean, obviously, World of Warcraft always been pretty good with giving you some degree of verticality to your exploration and stuff. But
Mm.
I think Warcraft's gotten better and better about giving you reasons to explore the world and have a bit of a better look rather than just going from waypoint to waypoint like you normally do with a lot of MMOs. I'm hoping that this dragon riding stuff will maybe give you a bit more of a reason to go and explore the world and look at the stuff that they've crafted on a wider scale, not just go and do your quests and then go back to the hub world. You know what I mean? So
Cap, will the
that'll be
dragon
interesting.
riding just be on the new areas? They won't.
Yes.
You won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
All right.
think there will be some story stuff behind why that's the case. I'm guessing it's going to be something to do with whatever's happening to the island that is going to be,
I'm telling you, mate.
this
The
is why you
stone
can only
guy.
dragon ride here, and this is why all these cool new moves are only available here as well.
The stone guy only allows you to fly in the stone guy land.
Yeah, you have to have the Stone Man's seal of
Yeah.
super sexy riding. And if you don't have it, you can't ride here.
You cannot
Uh,
fly.
So yeah, so you've got dragon riding. They've also they like this is what I think is the most interesting one for me, Grizz. They're basically reintroducing the talent system again.
Yeah.
So World of Warcraft used to have a big talent tree system where you had 3 talent tree specializations per specialization, and then you could pick and choose what you want out of all of those different trees to create your own kind of, you know, build essentially. And then they removed that and just kind of made it a simple pick and choose, talent system at each level. But now they're reintroducing a big talent tree system, which um, I am all for. I reckon this is going to be sick. I reckon they've needed to reintroduce something that gives you more customizability over your class. I really hope that they can do a good job of balancing this so there's not, because the thing is, dude, everyone's just going to be going, Google Icy Veins
Yeah.
best fucking build.
Yep. Yep.
And I just really hope that they actually do a good job of making it so you can play the game in any way you want to play without,
Mm.
really feeling like you're doing yourself over by not going with the standard build that everyone's fucking using.
I thought like the talent system in the retail that we played last cap was pretty dang simplistic.
Yeah,
in
it
terms
is,
of
dude. Absolutely. And they don't really do a good job of supporting it with the new expansions, as far as I believe.
Yeah.
I think in Shadowlands they had like a special ability that you could use, and then you could kind of augment that, and you could also
Mm.
have special. They had kind of simplistic talent trees that weren't very in depth.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of
and
how
I
they did
guess
it.
you could. Yeah. You were customizing through your other your other whatever your home base talent trees and bits and
Yeah,
pieces where, wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, this looks quite like these talent trees, man, look quite extensive and pretty complex. Some of them. It's
Absolutely,
almost
they
like
actually
the
look
old.
very in depth. Like
It's
you're
almost like
going
the
back
old
to the olden
Diablo.
days.
Yeah, back in the old days, and I remember BC was like that too.
Yeah,
It's cool.
yeah.
I
I'm
like
very,
it.
very
Hopefully
keen
it's
on this.
implemented well.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully they balance it and implement it well, and they have enough customizability, because I think that's something that World of Warcraft's probably lacked a little bit. Is it kind of just feels like a I don't know, like a it's almost like playing whack-a-mole. Like you just have to quickly react to the same shit over and
Yeah.
over again, and you can't really deviate too much from the best builds and stuff. So I just really hope that they do a good job of that. So
Well, the biggest one that I found, Cap, was all classes could do anything.
Yeah.
In retail,
Yeah.
so most classes have got a heal and
Yeah.
and an escape and everything else. Whereas,
Yeah.
and I feel like that kind of hinders it a bit, because it means you don't, when you're picking a party to go do something, it becomes less important when you're leveling
Yeah,
up and doing bits and
I
pieces.
suppose that kind of thing is a good and a bad thing, because it means that I understand, wanting to fill a certain gap in your team, and having certain specializations or classes that fill that gap maybe better than others. But the problem is, like, sometimes depending on how Blizzard, does balances and stuff, like some classes are just absolutely garbo and just won't get picked. 10 times out of 10, because they're just
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you're a shaman, fuck that, mate, they're fucking shit this
Yeah.
patch.
Dude,
and I think,
if you're a boomkin in BC, they will just grab you because you automatically just applied a passive 5%
Yeah.
to the range classes.
yeah,
But
but
yep,
there's
you're coming along.
legitimately there's some
Yeah.
classes that you pretty much just can't play in those older expansions because they're just so utterly garbage. And I feel like that's a little less so in retail. Again, like you said, like every class seems to pretty much be able to do everything. Heal and all. Not so much like fill the tank or healing role, but they do have a lot of similar overlap in their abilities. So I know what you mean, but I also I respect the fact that you can kind of fill most of those major roles with a particular class, but that class still has its own identity.
I do feel
I think they've
that
done a decent job.
I do feel the issues that I was raising around everyone having an answer for everything goes away when you start rating and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very limited, but you still, those roles become way more important later
Yeah.
on. But it's more of like when you're around questing and leveling and stuff. A rogue's got a heal,
Yeah.
like a pocket heal,
Yeah.
and hunters have got heals and stuff. It's just
Yeah.
funny-
I mean, to
funny
be
how
honest,
that
I don't play PvP because my fucking brain is just pathetically tiny. So I can't use my brain to do much goodness in the things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Too
I don't
hard,
do
mate.
PvP, but PvE, no worries. I'll do that every day of the week. But yeah, moving along, Grizzo, they've also added a new profession. They've added new profession system updates. So I think
Okay.
this has been a long time coming for them. Like the most recent expansion, it was almost like they didn't even touch professions, and maybe that was because they were getting ready to actually do a pretty decent job of it. But generally, most expansions there would be like quests and stuff tied to your professions, and just new ways to kind of experience your professions, or new items that you could use to enhance. Like I remember, what was the one I'm thinking of? Legion. You could get like the legendary fishing rod, which
Yeah.
was like a big fish skeleton fish, and it was sick. It was awesome.
Yeah.
They had nothing like that in Shadowlands.
There was heaps of drops, man, for all the professions through BC that were like really rare and hard to get, and people would be, rolling on in raids and stuff like that. And dude, I don't even remember doing any profession stuff in retail when I was there. I can't remember whether we
In
did.
Shadowlands, the
In
most recent one.
Shadowlands.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. I'm pretty sure that they didn't really touch it from memory, and I played it a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, basically they're reworking um, the profession system by introducing player-driven work orders and new
I
profession
saw
equipment
this.
and a new
Yeah.
specialization system. So I think this is really important because I feel like the economy of WoW has kind of died a little bit, and I think crafting is going to be a really important, um, I don't know, just feature to ensure that economy, regenerates itself a little bit. I
So is
guess.
this work order thing basically like a glorified auction house dedicated to professions? Is it Cap where you?
Sort of. So, for example, you might be like, "Oh, I need." I'm thinking what it's probably going to look like, right? Is I'll probably have quests and stuff that maybe need a potion of fucking blah blah, and you could put a work order out for that potion of blah blah, or maybe they'll finally make it so that crafted armor is actually useful for once,
Yeah.
and so then you can
You
you
just
can
give it
get
to enchanters to disenchant it,
well,
essentially. Don't you? That's
exactly.
something
Like
like that.
it's like crafting by the time you hit end game almost becomes useless. Whereas when you look at classic, dude, like crafting
Oh,
is really
mate.
important.
Yeah,
Um,
no joke.
like I mean, probably the only important crafting ability in World of Warcraft retail these days is probably cooking and herbalism because
Yeah.
those are the things you use in raid, and nothing else matters.
Dude, things
So
like
yeah,
drums and stuff like that, where someone in the raid needed to have a set of drums
yeah, exactly right.
and stuff like that. Very, very
Yeah.
important. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
so hopefully this will give professions a bit of a fresh lick of paint and make them a little bit more
Oh.
interesting. I really enjoy doing crafting stuff in games, and I do enjoy crafting in WoW. So if they can actually make it a little bit more worthwhile, I'll be fucking stoked.
Fishing's
And
so relaxing, man.
yeah, dude, like absolutely. Like I just love to
Right.
see that supported a bit better. So I guess we'll see what it looks like eventually. And then the final expansion feature that they've announced, Chris, is a new HUD UI,
Yeah.
which
Well,
is the first time they've touched the HUD since vanilla, literally.
dude, people just fucking mod the HUD every time. I did. My
Yeah,
HUD looked like shit, but
dude, you know what? I don't really touch my HUD that much.
do not touch your HUD.
No,
Okay.
not really.
Hmm.
Yeah, perhaps like.
Well, see, I played a healer
The
in
innuendo.
in retail, so I was needing to have certain stuff to click party raid members and stuff. So I needed to.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Something
I
to-
kind of liked the classic HUD, so I never like got those big mods that change the entirety of the HUD and give you all these different weird and wonderful features. But I do really like what they're doing with the HUD going forward. Like
It looks super clean,
it
man.
looks very clean. I
Yeah.
think they still are managing to because the original World of Warcraft HUD, Grizz, like when you see it, you go, "That's World of Warcraft."
Oh yeah,
To me,
absolutely.
like that,
Yeah,
I go,
yeah, yeah.
"That's fucking World of Warcraft." And I still think that they've managed to, like, looking at a picture of it right now, I still think that they've managed to do a pretty good job of preserving that. And I'm just going to post that in the Twitch chat, just so people can have a bit of a look. But yeah, I think they've updated it nicely. It looks really slick. It's not a comparison image, but I mean I know what the original stuff looks like. But yeah, I just think they've done a pretty bloody good job of giving it a fresh lick of paint. Looks
Yeah,
good.
it looks very clean. It looks
Yeah.
very clean. I probably won't if I play this. I probably won't download any mods to make it look awful. I might just
No.
leave it like that. I reckon.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's. I mean, they haven't done a huge deep dive into the new expansion. It was kind of they released a lot of information about what to expect from it. They've done a few interviews, but they haven't gone super in depth yet, especially since they haven't done a release date announcement. They haven't even announced when the beta is going to be going live, but I'm sure I'm sure it'll be this year at some time, probably September. Which is their usual kind of release window or end of the year kind of thing, September, November. But yeah, Grizz, I mean, just like, okay.
Have they nailed it, or have they
was
flunked?
a perfect company, though, or their upper management were angels, not big giant bags of shit. How keen would you be to get onto this retail expansion when it drops, based on what you know?
this is much more exciting looking to me than what Shadowlands was.
Yep. Yep.
I think there's a lot here that makes it exciting when you look across it. I think dragons in general and being able to ride dragons is a cool concept in
Yep.
itself. They look cool. I'm excited for that. And I think the small quality of life things like the profession system updates and talent system updates are things people have been asking for a while. So that's pretty well received as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know from very early on without seeing too much. Yeah, I think this is pretty good from Blizzard so far.
Yeah.
What about you, Cap? What do you think, mate?
Look, I definitely think I'm in the same boat, dude. I think I'm very interested to see what other stuff they're going to be announcing. I want more information about some of the things, like especially for me, I tell you what, man, I really want to know more about this profession revamp because I think that's going to be quite important to me. I think the expansion on a whole looks pretty cool. To be honest, I'm not super enamored with the story. A lot of people
that doesn't sell you, mate. That doesn't.
I mean, dragons are cool. But I don't know if I really want a whole dragon themed expansion. But I mean, hey, they might prove me wrong. I don't know. I actually prefer the big fucking cataclysmic cosmic horror fucking major gods versus god storylines. And this doesn't seem like it's going to be really edging into that. I know a lot of people wanted to go back to maybe some more kind of like streamlined, easygoing, like just adventuring storylines, which I totally get. But I mean, hey, look, I think for the most part, I think this looks cool. I think if I do jump in, I'm definitely going to be creating a new character. It's going to be a Drakthea. It's going to be an Evoker, and I look forward to healing for the first time ever in World of Warcraft.
Oh, you're going to heal? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll do a bit of heals. Maybe level in DPS and then do some healing in dungeons and shit.
Sounds great, mate. Yeah.
But yeah, look, I mean, ultimately, I think a lot of people have been complaining that Blizzard, having held the monopoly on MMOs for so long, they could kind of just swing their dick around and just not listen to their player base. And they have been doing that for a very long time. And I think now, as things have started to change and the MMO kind of ecosystem and coexistence of themselves with other huge MMOs like Final Fantasy Online, I think they actually need to start fucking pulling their head in and having a good listen to their player base, the people who pay for the games and the subs, and try and please these people. So I think finally they are starting to implement some things that maybe, instead of them saying, no, this is what you want, we're telling them 100%. What we want.
Yeah.
So I think there are elements of that in this announcement. So, hey, will they execute? I tell you what, if they don't, I think they're fucked. Because I think there's a lot of other really good MMOs out on the market right now that other people are very happy to play if World of Warcraft doesn't do a good job of it. And I think, Grizz, we might use that as another segue into
beautiful
OGR poll of the week. Now, did you want to give us a bit of a rundown of this one, Grizzler?
Absolutely, mate. Yep. So we had our weekly poll, guys. If you would like to vote on the poll, you just need to follow us on Twitter. We put this one out nice and early. And Cap, I haven't actually gone and checked it, but last time I looked at this had groundbreaking numbers of votes.
This is by far our most voted poll yet.
Yeah, 52 votes or something like that. Maybe
53,
even 53. Oh,
which I think our last one was 30 odd. So yeah, we've almost doubled it, which is pretty cool. So we appreciate you guys interacting with us on social media and stuff. And I think we got really good feedback with this, and especially keen to hear what you guys think about whatever we're polling in the comments of the poll itself. So.
We'll
54 now, apparently. Someone's just quickly going.
Hot dang. All right, Cap. So, question to you, mate. You're left stranded on a desert island for the rest of your life. You can only take one MMO with you, provided you have internet. Which do you take? What did you vote on there, Capo? What was your answer? And I guess I should say the options. We had World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, Guild Wars 2, or Elder Scrolls Online.
Now, we know that this isn't every MMO ever, guys, at home. I'm sorry that we couldn't fit more than 4 responses in here, but I guess we're trying to go for the more, what's the word I'm looking for? AAA kind of, retail-y kind of ones. We know that there's WoW Classic. We know that RuneScape's out there. We know that New World existed, but that's dead. Um, yeah. Anyways, so just to give you guys an idea of the breakdown, we had in last place Guild Wars 2 with 7.4%. Third place was Elder Scrolls Online with 13%. Second place went to World of Warcraft with 35.2%. And first place, Final Fantasy Online with 44.4%. Did that surprise you, Grizz?
Absolutely, mate. Big time surprised me. And I'll go into that why in a sec, but I just wanted to quickly pull out a couple of notable comments in the comments. So we had one from Red Snow that said, old school RuneScape, baby.
Yep. And a
Which
few
was
people like that who maybe were old school RuneScape,
old school RuneScapers,
lovers
yep.
as well.
Yep. And then we had Straight Jacket Jim say Star Wars Old Republic. Now, I believe Star Wars have had a couple of failed MMOs in their time. I actually didn't know that Star Wars Old Republic was still
Yeah, I
kicking
mean
on.
that's still going, and there's a lot of people who still play it, and I think there's still like consistent patches and big updates to that game. You know, it's not a hugely loved and recognized MMO, but yeah, I just don't think it like see it's that particular game came out in an era where everyone was trying to do MMOs because of World of Warcraft's success. And back then, it was kind of similar to this whole Destiny 2 thing with, what was that fucking game that came out that was done by EA? That was supposed to be the Destiny 2 killer.
Dano's favorite game. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, it starts with an A, doesn't it?
We're looking for Anthem.
Anthem, that's the one.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of like that tier of like rivalry. So people were bringing out these games, being like, "Yeah, man, this is the next big fucking Destiny 2 killer." Same thing for World of Warcraft. People like developers were saying, you know, we're gonna kill World of Warcraft finally, and no one was able to do it until Final Fantasy Online many years later. But yeah, that MMO was in that kind of tier.
Well, Cap, these results genuinely shocked me. So I truly believe, mate, if this exact same poll was run 3 years ago, it would look completely different. And
I agree.
Think it would be,
definitely.
I think it would be heavily favored to World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
You know, in my mind, WoW has always been golden child of MMOs. I kind of tweeted this out, retweeted our poll. And I feel like there's been so many games that have come out that have tried to be WoW killers, like you say, and ultimately try to pinch some of that market share that World of Warcraft had. And I'm going to list a couple and see whether it triggers any bits of nostalgia, whether you played any of these, Cap. But the Matrix Online, Lord of the Rings Online, which I played for about 3 months. I was
which
a
is
dwarf.
still going, by the way.
Is that still going? Okay. Yeah. Warhammer Online.
I played it briefly.
Did you? Age of Conan.
Never played Age of Conan.
And WildStar, amongst many others.
I played WildStar, but I actually thought WildStar was pretty good, but the servers were like in fucking... They may as well have been in Alaska, because playing from Australia was like 5 million ping. So that basically was like, yeah, you can't play this game in Australia.
But dude, there is a literal graveyard of these things.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's that whole games as a service thing, dude. Like, a lot of people, like, it's one of those things that's just very difficult to get right. And that's why World of Warcraft and Destiny 2s and stuff like that are unique. And Final Fantasy Online. I mean, dude, Final Fantasy Online, the initial game that came out, they killed because it was so unpopular, and they destroyed it. And part of the story of the Realm Reborn for Final Fantasy 2 is them literally killing that MMO and restarting again.
Dude, it sounds like Mother, the drink. Did you know that the original recipe of Mother was dog shit? And they brought out an advertising campaign with a bunch of SWAT people breaking into the Mother warehouse, taking out all the scientists and re-putting people back in there to redesign it.
Dude,
it
was disgusting. It tasted like weeds that you find outside in the garden. Blended up.
I like that.
Like,
it tastes like cough medicine.
It's not good. It was not good.
Oh, I kind of like cough medicine.
Well, it takes balls, mate, to do something like that.
I don't get into the cough medicine on the weekend or anything, but maybe I do. But yeah, I in all honesty,
shock you, Cap?
No,
they
didn't. They honestly didn't. I think there was a lot of stuff that came out post the Blizzard allegations and stuff. A lot of people made the migration across to somewhere else. And I was one of those people. I stopped my sub and I just went, this is the way that I'm going to show my support for these people. Everyone does it their own way, and that's how I decided to do it my way. And I went and played Final Fantasy, and for the most part, I enjoyed it. I will say that I think Final Fantasy Online, I mean, and again, I preface this with I'm not even full max level or anything, and I haven't reached endgame, but I do feel like Final Fantasy is missing an element of competitiveness that bothers me a little bit. World of Warcraft seems to have kind of like so the big issue is World of Warcraft's competitiveness can be insanely toxic.
Is this PvP cap or just in general?
Dude, even PvE, like people, trying to get raid slots and stuff, or being in a dungeon with new players and stuff. I think World of Warcraft is quite toxic when it comes to just how you compete and how you perform in those situations. Final Fantasy Online does not have that. You can't even download a DPS meter to see how well you're doing in Final Fantasy Online.
Dang! So you just any scrub can get into the raid and
pretty much, dude. Yeah. And so I don't know. I'm pretty sure you can't get a damage meter. As far as I'm aware, last time I checked, you couldn't. But yeah, I think there's an element of competitiveness that I want. I'm not a toxic player or anything, but I do like a little bit of like competitiveness in general, because I think that propels the game for me anyway. And I feel like that's kind of missing a little bit in Final Fantasy Online. But overall, I think this poll doesn't surprise me. I think a lot of players migrated there. Final Fantasy had to stop allowing people to buy new accounts and subs for a small time there, because their servers just couldn't keep up with how popular it was. Yeah, post Blizzard stuff.
You kind of touched on it very briefly there, mate. But what are a list of points that you think has caused this shift over time? What are we looking at here?
Well, I think Blizzard's WoW's become more toxic over time, and it becomes more and more difficult to be a casual player in World of Warcraft over time. And so people maybe are seeking maybe a more casual experience. I think
has the content become worse
in World of Warcraft? I think that's difficult to say for me. I actually probably played Shadowlands more than I've played a lot of other expansions in recent times, but maybe that was just a me thing. Right time, right place. But who knows? I think arguably you could argue either way. But I think over time, Blizzard has listened less and less to their player base, which is probably another big one. I think story-wise, I think they've done a really poor job of making the player actually care about what's happening in the game, which you really need a good story as a vessel to carry your player through. And I think that's where probably Final Fantasy has really ticked a few boxes for people. I'm not far enough in to really comment on what happens in kind of the latter half of that game, but I know a lot of people say that beyond the vanilla experience of Final Fantasy is some of the best story gaming has to offer from an MMO standpoint. It's not fucking Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Naughty Dog level of story. But yeah, I just think there's a blend of things, Grizz, and I think obviously them having an upper management of literal sexual offenders didn't help.
Has there been a long time between DLCs, or is that just me? Is this their usual design life release of DLCs? I feel like it's been a long time between content.
I think they've had a few real big droughts recently. And again, I think obviously COVID didn't help that, but neither did what happened internally. So, dude, I just think it's been a storm for Blizzard, a blizzard for Blizzard, you might even say. But yeah, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of issues that have arisen for them.
Well, I think we rerun this poll when the expansion's released and see how people feel about it. See whether the numbers have changed a bit. Because, like we were talking about, from my perspective, the the media that we see behind the expansion is looking pretty positive. I think they've done a reasonably good job with the release trailer. I think it looks interesting and good and fresh. And I think some of the changes they've made in terms of the dragon flight and the professions and the talent trees look positive as well. So interesting to see whether they can pull a few of these people back across.
Yeah, look, I really hope that they do a good job with this expansion, Grizz, because I think there's a lot of really talented developers and people that work at Blizzard who aren't sexual offenders. And I think they deserve to be able to pull this off. And I really do hope that Microsoft can, I don't know, just breathe a bit of new life into that company, because I think Blizzard has stagnated over time. They're definitely not the darlings of the olden age that they used to be. And God, has that started to show recently with some of the shit that's been coming out with that company. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so there we go. Now, Grizz, we've got like fucking 90% of the spreadsheet to go through. So let's fucking get cranking on that. Next thing on the list, Grizzler, the writer of Portal 1 and 2 says that he wants to start Portal 3 because he's not getting any younger. Grizz, what do you reckon? I'd be pretty keen on a Portal 3.
Can I fess up to something here, Cap?
Oh, don't. No. No.
I have never touched a Portal game.
Okay, you and me are playing Portal.
I've never touched a Portal game, man.
Holy fuck. I can't believe it, dude. Serious?
Yeah, serious. I've seen like playthroughs and bits and pieces, and it does look very cool, and I've heard only good things, but no.
It's such a great co-op game, man. Like we got to do it. We got to give it a crack.
I'm keen. Man.
I mean, this has been an interesting announcement, Grizz, more so because I probably care less about the fact that this guy wants to make Portal 3, and I care more about the fact that he's kind of given us a little bit of insight into what happens at Valve. So this particular writer, he kind of said, so when asked if he'd like to make a third game, he said, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd work on another Portal in a second, but I can't make that happen myself. And then said after it was pointed out that he must have some leverage at Valve, Woolpaw replied, oh, I could advocate for it. It might help a little bit, but the problem is Valve has 300 employees, and I don't know exactly the breakdown. How many of them are on production side versus Steam business side versus legal side versus whatever. So I just found that very interesting about the structure of Valve. What about you? Like, did you read that and just think, oh, that's interesting?
I was like, well, I'm just surprised that if you've got someone who's made these successful games in the past that wants to literally make the third one, that Valve haven't got resources, or he hasn't got like a team.
And that's the vibe I got, dude. I don't think that Valve is what it used to be. Back when they were making Half-Lifes and everything else that went with Valve. I think they're just basically in maintenance mode for a lot of their continued service games like Dota and CSGO and stuff like that. I don't think there's an awful lot of push for them to really want to do much development because, I mean, let's be honest, dude. Developing games is fucking expensive.
Yeah,
but
he's got another line there, Cap, and it says, so there's a lot of opportunity cost taking 75 people and trying to get a game made. As much as it seems like Valve often is just a bunch of people sitting around sipping gin and tonics by a pool, everybody's working.
Yeah.
So just to let people know, what does Valve have under their banner? They've got Dota,
CSGO. I mean, they've done a little bit of dev work on some recent VR stuff. I mean, obviously, they're working on getting the Steam Deck out at the moment. But the thing is, like, they operate the biggest ecosystem of PC game trade in the world.
Yeah, true.
And that's huge, dude. Like, maintaining that would be a huge job. Not like, let alone like all the legal stuff that goes behind that, which Woolpaw has kind of alluded to in here. But yeah, I just don't think that they, again, like, why would they make a new game when they could just support old games and make more money?
What do you reckon, Cap? Do you reckon there will be a Portal 3, or is he basically hinting, saying that's not going to happen? We can't get the resources. Well,
I mean, I think kind of the latter, to be honest. I mean, why I think that's why they've never made a Half-Life 3 either. There's just no reason for them. Like, why would you take that risk? You know what I mean? Why would you take a risk and put yourself out to create a video game that might have really terrible critical acclaim? Because I don't know. I just think it's really difficult to make good video games these days. we've been so lucky to experience some of the best
Yeah.
gaming experiences yet, and it's very difficult to create something new in this space that makes
Gaming
wows
is
people. You know,
it's an interesting spot, Cap, because we've got these games that are being made by 1 to 2 people development teams that absolutely blow up and
Yeah.
make a shitload of money. And I guess the point is, imagine having 75 people working on this and it tanks.
yeah, and that's what I
Like,
mean.
oh,
Why
fuck,
would
it's
you?
just
Why
not-
would you make that risk? Why not
Mm.
just make a bunch of hats in Dota and have people pay fucking $50 per hat, and they will do that?
Yeah, true.
Why wouldn't you do that?
What you need to do, mate, is obviously these Portal games are much loved. Someone needs to go and make a fucking, what is it called? Cap, crowdfund this baby. Crowdfund it.
Yeah, I mean, Valve would probably shit on it and destroy it with their legal team, but yeah,
Mm.
good luck to them.
Yeah.
Moving along, Grizzly, we got lots of shit to get through. So, Nintendo has announced the launch dates for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Splatoon. So, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is coming on the 29th of July this year, which is actually ahead of schedule for them, which, I mean, we live in a time of games being endlessly fucking delayed, Grizz. So, hearing that a developer's ready to release a game early kind of blows my fucking mind, especially a AAA title of this size. And Splatoon's coming out on the 9th of September. I don't know if I said that earlier, but there you go. You got it twice.
9th of the 9th. Gee, not far away, mate. There you
9th
go.
of the 9th. Yeah, so these two games not too far away. I'm actually pretty keen for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've played every single one and never finished one of them, but
Have you?
I do like the games in general. I think they're a little bit.
Kat, what platform did you play Xenoblade Chronicles on, mate?
I played the original one on DS. I believe it came out on. No, hang on. Did I play it on DS? Yeah, I did play it on DS. I think it originally came out on Wii U, and then they released a DS version or something. Or maybe I played it on Wii U. Played it on one or the other. And then I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, look, I think these games are pretty well loved, and they've done a pretty good job of, building this IP up over time. Obviously, we have Xenoblade Chronicles characters in Super Smash Brothers now. So, and I don't know. It looks pretty interesting. It looks like you're running around with a team of 6. Normally, it's a team of 3 or 4 in the older games. One thing I don't like about RPGs that do this is sometimes I just feel like there's too much shit to manage when you've got a party size of like over 2 or 3. So it'll be interesting to see how they execute.
Going on.
Yeah.
Imagine your turn. Your turn's going to be hugely long, surely, when you're
it's
planning
kind of
everything
like
out.
so for those at home who are like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? What is this game? It's a JRPG. It's the combat system's very action based, so it's not like a turn based system. Everyone's kind of fighting at the same time and doing things. The Xenoblade games generally, so the 2 games that exist currently, they take place in different universes, I believe, but they kind of have a roughly kind of similar kind of anime, versing, ancient things or whatever else, and it all takes place in these lands where they have access to these special Xenoblade weapons. But yeah, I don't know, it looks cool. I think the trailer looked pretty good. They've got very anime looking characters and cool swords and abilities and stuff. I'll probably give it a crack. Again, like I said, I've tried the other ones and I wouldn't mind giving this one a crack as well, just to see if I stick with it for longer. But I mean, these games take fucking ages, man. Like hundreds of hours.
Yeah, right.
It's big commitments.
What about Splatoon, Cap? Have you ever played any Splatoon games?
I've never played Splatoon, dude. Never played it before.
I hear they're really fun couch co-op, couch PvP games.
Yeah.
Good numbers.
I know a few people that literally just like played the PvP side of those games.
Dude,
non-stop.
isn't there a esports scene that sits behind these
There is an
Splatoon
esports
games?
scene, yeah, absolutely. Not that Nintendo supports their esports scenes very well.
Man. Their online stuff, their servers and bits and pieces have always been shit. Like,
I mean,
Mario
even
Maker
just the
2
way
is
that they
terrible.
support Super Smash Brothers, like they wouldn't allow Super Smash Brothers to go into some of the Evo fighting game tournaments in certain years, and I think this year they might have done it again. Yeah, they're just really weird with their IPs.
Dude, the licensing is so fucking bizarre. Nintendo licensing stuff is a bit weird.
Nintendo's just they do their own fucking thing, dude, and that's how they do things. And just especially their online services are just such a quagmire of just garbage that it's like how did you guys get here? Like, you guys have some of the best game developers in the world, but the way that you approach internet is just horrific. It's like, what were you thinking?
Oh, well, Cap, just quickly, mate, they released the Switch without a fucking dedicated LAN port. So everyone's forced to use Wi-Fi, which is shocking. So they're wondering why everyone's getting dropouts and none of their games are working on the Switch as intended online. Like, come on.
Do you know what? I kind of understand why they did that. And I mean, I think they've released some kind of adapter since, but I think the reasoning behind that is because, and I know it's going to sound really fucking dumb, but adding those ports to the machine would have cost them X amount of money, and that would have just been an economical decision they made there and then.
Sounds like Australia with our internet, mate.
Well, yeah, basically they're the Australia of gaming consoles. But yeah, so I'll probably definitely give Xenoblade Chronicles a crack, Grizzler. What about Splatoon 3? I think I was saying Splatoon 2, but I meant 3 if I did say 2. Sorry about that. But what do you think? Do you give either of these games a crack, Grizzler?
Negatory, pal. No, I won't look at either of these two. Maybe Splatoon. I think actually Splatoon might be a good one for my kids. I think that might be something that could be a bit of fun.
Yeah.
They actually have been getting into the Switch recently, so getting to that age. But none of these tickle my fancy. And I haven't played any of the Xenoblade games to date.
They're pretty heavy on the JRPG bullshit tropes. So, I mean, if you're not super into like anime kind of bullshit, then you probably won't like these games. But I mean, let me know if you get Splatoon 3, mate. I'll come over and fucking bring my controller.
Hell, freaking yeah, dude.
All right, moving along, Grizzler. So Halo Infinite released, Shadow released a little while back, and decent kind of critical acclaim. Though a lot of people got really shitty with just the way that they released all of their kind of PvP systems and I guess how you earn shit over time. Their reward systems for PvP. Either people were complaining it was too difficult to get things, or there wasn't enough stuff to kind of get. So since they've recently announced the season 2 of Halo Infinite's kind of PvP kind of stuff, looks like people are fairly pretty keen to get in there. But one thing they've announced alongside all this is that they've got a Battle Royale-esque mode. It's not a Battle Royale mode. It's kind of like a Battle Royale mode. And people aren't fucking stoked about it because people were super, super keen about a Halo full Battle Royale. Which, I mean, do you know what, dude? I would have loved a Halo Battle Royale.
Yeah, so there's absolutely no reason why there shouldn't be a Halo Battle Royale, Cap. Battle Royales, in my mind, are so much fucking better than a team deathmatch or a deathmatch.
And that's essentially what this is. So the new Battle Royale-esque mode that people have been calling for ages for the Halo kind of franchise. They're calling it Last Spartan Standing. Set on the 4 big team battle maps, so it's still sort of big map battles. It's a free-for-all elimination contest between 12 players. Each player has 5 lives, and once you're out, you're out. You start with a low-tier weapon, but if you score a kill, you can level up to a higher-tier weapon, discouraging folks from simply hiding out in the corner.
Dude, it sounds like gun game in...
Yeah, it's like a blend
CS:GO.
of gun game and almost kind of Battle Royale, but not really. It's not really Battle Royale, is it?
No.
It's really not.
No, that's not really Battle Royale. No.
And it's kind of sad. I think, do you know what? I honestly think what they're doing here is they aren't ready to do a Battle Royale, or maybe they're working on a Battle Royale. They haven't called it Halo Battle Royale. They've called it Last Spartan Standing. So that's a different thing altogether, right? In my mind, I think there's still opportunity for a Battle Royale down the line, but I just don't think they're ready or they have it ready to go.
Cap, do you think a Halo Battle Royale would be good for the franchise?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look at what Warzone's done for Call of Duty. I would almost say that Warzone,
whole series,
absolutely.
Mate.
I think
aren't
that
buying the
was what
single
it
player.
needed.
People aren't buying the new ones that are coming out, like Vanguard. They're just sticking to the old Call of Duty.
Exactly,
Warzone,
they're
mate.
just staying in the Warzone environment, which I mean they're doing separately to the Call of Duty games now. But I think a Warzone kind of battle royale thing for Halo would be really good, like really refreshing, and you could do it in. It'd be so fucking easy for them to do it, man. Like they have such a good story to work with. They could do anything. Like, and I think, like Halo has all these really cool fucking guns and across
Oh yeah,
multiple games. Like, dude, there's so much they could do. Like running around in
vehicles,
banshees and
heaps of vehicles
vehicles,
and
and
stuff. Yeah,
dude, I
absolutely,
just can't
man.
believe they haven't done it yet. I think what's probably happened is so the Studio 343. I think they're
Mm.
probably in a little bit of a caretaker mode with this game. Maybe they're not quite ready to put all of their eggs in one basket for Halo yet, which is surprising because Microsoft just doesn't have any fucking like epic first party IPs anymore. Like, I mean, obviously, PlayStation has so many fucking amazing
Yeah,
first party IPs.
shitloads of them.
And I
Yeah.
mean, Microsoft is just becoming the Netflix of gaming, basically. So they're
Mhm.
going down two very different paths. But yeah, I don't know. I think a battle royale would really help Halo because I mean, I was listening to a podcast the other day, dude, and one dude was talking about how he asked his son, like, do you give a shit about Halo? And he's just like, no. Like, why would I give a
Yeah.
shit about Halo? Like, Halo doesn't have what it used to have, with the generation coming out now. And they're not doing anything to really harbor a love for Halo in younger players.
Cap, I hold zero nostalgia for Halo myself.
Yeah.
Like I actually, like, I could not give a shit about Halo either. But I agree with you. So if you were to ask a teenager,
What
Fortnite
games
or
do you
Halo,
play?
yeah, what games do you play? Yeah,
They're
it's
not going to say
gonna be
Halo.
no,
They're going to say
absolutely not.
Fortnite. They're going to say Warzone. They're going to say
Mm.
Elden Ring, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
they're just not going to say Halo. So I just think they're doing a
Mm.
really poor job of doing anything and with this franchise. And I think, honestly, probably the biggest misstep that they made recently is the Halo TV series. I just can't believe.
Do you think that hasn't been good for the franchise? That I haven't looked at the reviews for it, the recent reviews.
As more episodes come out, I think people are just saying it's bland and shit.
Okay.
And they've done a really poor job of characterizing people. On top of that, dude, dude, I know we talked about it a while back, but they have never shown the Master Chief's face. I just can't believe
You're
they
still
showed it on the
this,
fucking
Cap.
TV series, dude. That's the whole fucking thing about Master Chief is you don't see his face. You don't see it. I
Yeah.
get that it's important to try and make things emotive with him, and help, like showing his face might help towards that. But dude, it's just so dumb. Like they could have done it. Like they could have done so much shit with that, and they just fucked it, completely fucked it. But anyways, we'll see what happens
Cap,
with
can
Halo.
I just want to quickly jump back to the Battle Royale game archetype for a bit. I personally think that it is a brilliant archetype. And I remember that is literally why Fortnite took off like it did, because the game archetype of being the last one standing and that feeling of winning or getting close to winning was great. Now, I reckon, Cap, that this is very off topic, but there is a huge gap in the market for a melee type battle royale. Could you imagine fucking Dark Souls battle royale, dude?
Dude, people have been calling for something like that for a long while. And I think they kind of tried to do it with there was a game a while back. Now, what was that? It was
Chivalry
kind of
2,
like,
but there's no battle royale in Chivalry, I don't
I
think.
thought there was I thought there was one. I swear there was one. Now, I
Is
think
there an
Pat's going to do
existing
some
one?
research. I'm pretty sure there was some kind of melee battle royale. I can't remember exactly who did it, but it obviously didn't stick. Now, the other one was there was that magic-based one as well that our mate Cardles was
Yeah.
playing for a while. I can't remember what that was called. Spells something?
Yeah.
Spell-
So that looked really good. But the issue with that is when you were good at the game, you would just
Spellbreak.
shit on everyone
Thanks,
else. I
Lana.
think it was. Yeah, your skills. Well, I guess that comes down to a bad matchmaking. Probably not enough people playing the game. But
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyways, we'll see what happens with Halo. I think, frankly, they're gonna have to do some work to get that franchise. They need to put the defibrillator on that bad boy because people aren't fucking happy with it.
Got to market to the younger kids, mate. Although it was in saying that bloody Elden Ring's not marketed at younger kids, and look at the success. But
Well, absolutely.
I guess different games, right? Different horses for courses, mate. Isn't that what they say?
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Yeah, well, I think something along those lines. But Pav's putting his hand up. You've got a question, mate? Would you?
Was the game we were looking at Mordhau?
Yes, Mordhau.
Oh, dude, Mordhau.
I think they had a battle royale style game mode in Mordhau.
Did
Is
they?
that correct, Pav? Like they had some kind of battle
Dude,
royale
I
thing?
swear I've played
Yeah,
Mordhau before.
I
Was that
think.
like before? Dude, was Mordhau before Shiv? Was that like? No, dude, I remember when Mordhau. What the fuck happened to Mordhau, Cap? Did that just
I
disappear?
just don't think it got supported.
It's so weird. It's got like a 92% review rating on it.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things. Like Chivalry came out at a time when there was nothing else like it, whereas Mordhau came out when Chivalry was around, and I think people were burnt out on the medieval,
Hmm.
fucking battle kind of thing. But yeah, it's an interesting. I think they did do a BR thing.
There
Perhaps
you
give
go,
me
man.
kind of some kind of semi nod.
Yeah. Am I on? Yes. Battle Royale, just as per Google or fandom.
Yeah,
Battle Royale is a game mode in Mordhau. It was removed from official matchmaking in patch
Mm,
19 due to lack of interest.
yeah.
there you
There you
go,
go. But I
mate.
mean, hey, I tell you what, though, Grizz, that doesn't mean that a Dark Souls
Cap,
battle royale wouldn't work.
I'm going to call up my good friends at Devolver Digital and say, guys, I've got a pitch for you.
Yeah.
We're talking Fall Guys, but Dark Souls. Let's go.
I do not want to play that. All right, moving along to the quickfire Grizz. We got some
Hmm.
shit to get through, my friend. First cab off the rank for the quickfire tonight. Elden Ring patch notes 1.04. Lots of changes, Grizz. Actually, do you know what, man? Like, I think one thing about the patch notes that have come out for Elden Ring recently has really drummed into me is just how fucking popular this game is. Because,
Oh,
dude, Dark Souls 3
nuts.
patch notes were like three things at a time.
Yeah.
Dude, this is massive. And I know it's a bigger game and obviously open
Yeah.
world and all that, but they're doing so much fucking balancing with a lot of their stuff in this game. It's nuts.
I haven't read any of these yet, Cap. So this is the first time I've looked at these. So
Yeah,
there
well,
you
I
go,
think
mate.
probably the main things to talk about is they've done a bunch of stuff with the Patches character in game, the From Software's very own bastard NPC.
Oh, shit.
So they've
Cool.
added some new event
Man,
phases.
I love that they're adding in these little storyline
Well,
driven components
I'm not
throughout.
too sure if they're adding things in or if things just weren't working properly.
Right. Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, excuse me.
Cap, did they fix the zip? Was there anything about
No,
fixing the zip?
no, I don't think
No.
they have fixed the zip yet.
Okay.
I believe that would be a very difficult problem to solve for them, and maybe they will in the
Mhm.
future, but we'll wait and see. Now, one thing that I do like, Grizz, is they've done a lot of changes to a lot of like heavy strength weapons that I think have been absolutely needed because I don't know about you, Grizz, but I really feel like there was a lot of play styles that were just insanely OP in this game,
Yeah.
and they included
Magic is
katanas with
fucking
bleed and any
broken, dude.
sorcery.
That was me. That was my playthrough. Katana, sorcery. That was me. Done.
Yeah, exactly. And then,
She's
poor
the
old
go.
buggers like me playing with a fucking strength weapon just can't get any time of day with a fucking boss. But yeah, look, I think they've done a bunch of changes to a lot of heavy weapons in here. They've done a lot of adjustments to sorcery. You can find the full patch notes on the Bandai Namco website. But yeah, I mean, just looking over the top here, basically making a lot of sorcery
Wow,
incantations,
man.
increase cast speed and time. Hang on, increase cast speed and decrease recovery time. So I think they're trying to make some sorceries a bit more viable and some of the more used ones a little less viable. So that's kind of what they're going for.
Gee, they just a shout out quickly to Swarm of Flies, decrease blood loss, build up on enemy. I know that was a very popular spell for Melania.
It
Just throwing
as
those
well.
at her, yeah.
Yeah, that was how a lot of people were fucking, and they were using that for Lord of Blood as well.
Is that right?
Yeah, so there you go. But yeah, so Elden Ring patch notes. Go and check them out if you're interested. Now, one thing to
Did
note as
Moonvale
well.
get fucking nerfed, Cap? Did Moonvale get nerfed? Question.
No, which is fucking ridiculous. I still can't believe they haven't nerfed that fucking stupid sword.
No, it's not
People
nerfed.
are still complaining about that fucking sword in PvP. Now, Grizz, they did. So someone's. We spoke about this particular player, I think last week or the week before. Let Me Solo Her was a player who popped up in the Elden Ring summon pool, and it was a naked person in Elden Ring with a pot on their head, and they'd come in and they'd fight the hardest boss for you solo without you having to do anything. And they called themselves Let Me Solo Her. Now, obviously, a lot of people got on board and did fan art and all kinds of shit. And someone has recently added them as a summonable Spirit Ash mod to the PC version of Elden Ring, which is pretty cool.
Very cool. I mid sneeze.
Yeah, I just saw that.
It's gone away.
So that's
apparently it's really strong.
Is it?
Strongest. It's one of the legendary ashes. It's like, well,
it would have to be.
It's modded in, so I think it's.
Dude, do you know what I want to see From Software do? I really want to see them add an official one in the DLC as a legendary
cool.
Ash. I think that would be so fucking cool and like a little bit fan servicey, yes, but I just think that would be a great thing to add, and it wouldn't be difficult for them. I think it would be, well, I mean, I don't know what
Could you imagine if you were that person that has started this meme to then have your Spirit Ash be bought into Elden Ring? What an absolute claim to fame, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be so freaking cool. But on the same note with Elden Ring, these new patch notes, Grizz, they've actually made Millennia, the boss that Let Me Solo Her, has been sort of helping players beat, harder. So Millennia used to do she still does, when she hits you with her sword, she'll regenerate some of the HP that she's hit you with. So now apparently she's regenerating HP without actually hitting you. So the hardest boss in Elden Ring just got a little bit harder.
Not to mention that they've made Swarm of Flies shit as well.
Yes, very shite. But yeah, so there you go. Moving along, Grizz, there is a rumor going around that PlayStation might be getting bought by, From Software might be getting bought by PlayStation.
What are your thoughts on that, Cap?
Do you know what? If they make Bloodborne 2 off the back of that, mate, fucking sell them. Fucking sell them. But to be honest, dude, like, Sony PlayStation has a pretty bloody good track record of their purchases, just saying, hey, man, we own you now. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Horsemark is a great example of that. They bought so that's Returnal. Bought them on as a first party, and it sounds like they just give them real development freedom, which is good as long as they don't. I don't know, man. I just hope that if this happens, I'm with you, Cap. I think positive thing, mate. I think it's a positive thing.
Yeah. Now, this rumor came out by a what was their name?
How did this come about?
According to Dr. Serkan Toto, who is a CEO of Kantan Games, a consultant company active in the video game industry. That's just a rumor that's apparently been circulating in kind of quite high up game dev circles. So, I guess we'll see what happens. I have been speculating without any evidence that FromSoft would eventually be bought out by Sony.
Is that right?
And I just think it's a. I mean, they released Bloodborne. They've worked really closely with PlayStation in the past. I can just see it happening.
They've already had one Sony exclusive under the belt.
Yeah, I honestly can really see it happening, dude. So time will tell whether that rumor sheds any light or comes into the light. But yeah, I mean,
how many bucks would you see that?
Dude, that was another thing I was thinking about. Dude, it would have to be. I mean, with the success of Elden Ring, maybe not Blizzard levels of bucks. Because what was Blizzard? Blizzard was like what? 40 billion or some shit.
40 billion, I'm pretty sure.
Blizzard, price
40 billion rings a bell, doesn't it?
Let me just have a quick $68 billion it was.
68 billion.
I reckon From Software would be 15 to 20 billion.
That was based on their share price and stuff, wasn't it?
It was a bunch of other shit, but yeah. I think I mean Blizzard probably could have gotten sold for more, but yeah, I don't think we'll dive too deep into this, Grizz, because we've got to get through some of the shit.
I'm just looking up the FromSoft share price right now.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Okay, moving along. Guys, go forth and feel free to update your PS5 controller direct from your Windows PC. You can now update the wireless controller firmware directly from your Windows-based device. Windows 10 and 11 operating system devices can be used to update your Sony PlayStation 5 controller. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting, more so than
What does it
anything.
allow you just with the new firmware and stuff? Is that what it does?
Well,
or-
I mean, all it literally does is you can update your controller using your PC rather than updating it off the PS5. So that's literally
right.
that all it is. But I mean, I'm sure that'll be useful for someone.
Mhm.
So there you go, Grizz. Another thing that's happened
Grizz.
recently is someone found a leak of the Game Boy emulator for a Nintendo Switch. So looks like someone dumped a bunch of stuff off of a Switch console, and a part of those files was a Game Boy Advance emulator that was embedded within. So
You are kidding me. So
maybe
what?
that's coming soon.
We're going to be seeing some Pokemon, old school Pokemon titles coming up.
Well, dude, I mean, this is so. Let's say 4chan is the source of many internet leaks regarding video game files. Allegedly, within the files that was found on this particular Nintendo Switch, a Game Boy emulator called Hyoko and a Game Boy Advance emulator called Sloop, both developed by Nintendo themselves through their European research and development team, were found in Nintendo Switch format on the device. Users that downloaded the files quickly got them to work on their own modded consoles, which function and play GBA and GB-ROM files.
You're kidding. Well, people have got these working on their Switches, have they?
Yeah, and so this was pulled off like some kind of development console or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Of the things that were on there was Pokemon Pinball, Ruby Sapphire, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, and a bunch of other shit. So,
Bang.
Yeah, interesting. But there you go. That's fucking happening too. Yeah, how are we going for time? We got like 9 minutes, but I'm just going to quickly zip through the last little bits and pieces. Grizz, Larian Studios, creators of Divinity, Original Sin, etc., have released a bit of a D&D Baldur's Gate 3 video, just detailing some of the things that they've gone through with the development of that game, and have announced that they expect it to release fully in 2023, which I'm very excited for, because I've been wanting to play Baldur's Gate 3 for ages, but I just don't want to play it in early access.
Yeah, fuck, it looks amazing, dude. I'm just looking at some of it now. Wow, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it looks awesome,
Very
dude,
excited.
and I'm very keen to maybe give it a crack with you, perhaps.
Absolutely.
That'd be pretty fucking cool. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. Now, probably the final thing on this list that we'll go through, we might leave the rest of it for next time, Grizzler. PlayStation Plus, the brand new tiered system of PlayStation Plus, the rollout has been dated, so you can expect it May 23rd for Asian markets, excluding Japan. Japan will be targeted on the June 1st, Americas June 13th, and Europe June 2022. June 22 of 2022. Sorry, my brain wasn't fucking quite understanding how to say that for a second there. Now, you might be wondering, Aussies listening to the podcast, where do I fit in with that? Unfortunately, we're probably going to be with the Europes, which is the very last of that. So potentially June 2022. But we might be getting targeted. It's hard to say. They haven't explicitly said where we are. Probably Europe's, because traditionally we've kind of been in that rollout phase for Sony, etc. But there's every chance we could be a part of the Asian market as well, just given that we're in Oceania. So, well, who knows? We'll fucking wait and see, I guess.
It's coming soon, man. I'm excited for that. I think, Cap, do you know what tier you're going to be subscribing at yet, mate? Are you going to subscribe to this? Can you have a look at it first?
Look, I think I'll probably go with the extra tier, which will probably be about just under $20 a month ish. They still haven't actually released local pricing. This is all in USD, but it should be around about $18 Australian ish. I reckon they'll just round that up to 20, knowing Sony, and just say, "Fuck you, Australian mongrels. You can fucking play a bit extra."
Eat this.
But yeah, I don't think I'll be paying for the other one. I just can't really justify it based on the fact that we don't get the streaming of games added with that. So, yeah, I think I'll be doing that. What about you, Grizz? Where do you reckon you'll fall?
Base service for me too, Cap. But I also do want to check out to see what's offered. Maybe if there's something that I really want to play, I might do the old,
jump on, jump off.
jump on, jump off, and
Yeah.
see. I'm sure they're going to have something similar to what Xbox has, where there's some introductory offer where you pay maybe $1 for the first month. That'd be silly not to try to get people on board. I would imagine there'll be something like that.
I'm going to call it right now. They're not going to do that.
You reckon? You don't reckon?
No way. PlayStation are very tight with their money for good reason. I know that they put a lot of hard work into their consoles and their games, but they're very fucking tight with their pricing. So I can't see it happening.
Bloody assholes.
But time will tell, Grizzly Gaming, and time will tell what happens next time on the OGR podcast. We appreciate you guys being here tonight. We had to push really hard to get through all those fucking things on the agenda tonight. We have to leave one of those particular topics for next time. But you can catch us live every Monday night here on Twitch TV, recording every week's episode. This week's episode 14. We appreciate everyone in the chat hanging out tonight. Thank you so bloody much for being here. You can catch us on your favorite podcast apps and whatnots. Just search up Oceanic Gaming Radio on your podcasting app, and you should be able to find us there. We really want to also thank our wonderful Patreons, Ho and Honey. We've got Bogues, Moosey, and Sukai. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting this podcast. We really appreciate it. It helps us pay the bills for distributing this on all the different platforms we use, and also paying for the software and stuff that we use to generate the pods. So, guys, appreciate you. Now, please, guys, do us a favor. Go and follow us on all of our social media networks. Twitter, Facebook, fucking OnlyFans. Go and search Oceanic Gaming Radio, and you're sure to find us. Pav's released a very lewd set this week on the Oceanic Gaming Radio. Let's just say, yeah, wow. Something very sexy. Yep. And you can find that on our Twitter, actually. That's where you'll find that. But yeah, also, guys, we said it last week. I'm going to say it again this week. Please just tell some of your mates about us. If you think that you've got mates that might get a kick out of this little podcast and listening to us talk shit, tell one of your mates. Only need to tell one, and hopefully they'll tell another, and then organically we'll get this fucking podcast out on the airwaves and make it big, and then me and Grizz and Pav will never have to work a day in our lives. That's going to be the dream. But yeah, no, I think that's about everything, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Grizz, any closing statements from you, mate?
Vote on the Twitter poll, you legends.
Absolutely. Again, follow us on Twitter, Oceanic Gaming Radio. I think it's OGR, @OGR Show. And you can vote on the Twitter poll every week. We're going to be trying to get them out earlier, so probably expect them Friday-ish. So, yeah. Pavlich, anything to say, mate?
No, not at all. Just cheers, legends. I appreciate the heck out of you.
Yep, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll catch you next time on the Oceanic Gaming Radio podcast.
Love the dancing at the end of these fucking episodes, boys.
It's good, isn't it?
I have all of them saved. There will be a compilation one day.
Awesome. Fucking awesome. Yeah, fuck. We had to work hard to squeeze all that in. Jesus Christ.
That was a big one.
The fucking World of Warcraft segment was like almost an hour.
Dude, we could have done a whole nother fucking episode on the Elden Ring patch notes too, Cap.
I know. It's so easy, dude. It's so, it's just hilarious. I actually need to get a move on, guys, so I might have to let you guys sort of wrap the show up.
Beautiful, mate.
Thank you so much for hanging out in chat, everyone in chat in the Twitchosphere. Appreciate you guys. Are you streaming tonight, Chris?
I was going to, but now I can't be fucked, so probably not.
Might see Unheard Of, perhaps.
Yeah, let me know, mate.
I'll be here an hour and a bit, probably. Just going to go and get dinner with Mia. So,
couple closing things before we sign off. Who are we rating if Chris is not on? And title of tonight's episode 14. What are we thinking?
About Wow, what an episode.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was thinking like, oh wow, wow, what an
Oh,
episode is
wow.
good. All right, perfect.
Yeah,
Wow, what an
that's good.
episode.
Yeah,
I
perfect.
like it. Wow, what an episode.
Just looking at who's online.
There is any other podcast friends on? We've got Hank and Aussie Noob are on. Shrikelette's on.
Is Nick online? No, Nick's not online.
Nah, it's a bit late for
Okay.
a Nick.
I'm pretty easy. Whoever you guys want to go with.
Do we have any Perthies on?
Perthies. We could go to Crethian. He's got got a few viewers. Creth is a Perth dude.
It's Crethian Perth. I didn't know that. Yeah, let's go see Crethian.
Let's do it.
Crethian Omega, is that his name? Yeah, there he is.
Uh,
Yep.
Don't know if I'm following Crethian yet. Here he is. Oh, yeah, he posts in my Discord a bit.
All right, guys, get the frick in here. What is our raid thing going to be?
What do we got? Good dad's good. G'day, Adam. You bloody legend. Wait, is this from the start of the stream?
that might have been a while ago.
It's fucking Lingus this loaded old chat. Old chat.
How about
Hey,
how about wow, a raid?
Wow, what a raid!
What a raid! Yeah.
Sly, as always, appreciate you hanging out, and Lamified, dude, you had some very interesting points popping up in the show. Appreciate you you chatting in here. Obviously, sorry we can't get to everything you guys say during the show. Eric, how you freaking going? Love you all guys immensely. Thank you so much. Snipper was in here earlier as well. G'day, Schnipster. But yeah, guys, appreciate you. Make sure you go and raid Crethian and drop him a follow. We'll catch you guys freaking next week, I guess.
See you
Peace
next
out.
time. Bye
See you next
bye.
week. Bye, legends.
How do I click these buttons? Where is it? There it is.